My first semester last year was really tough, and it was rigorous, and it was hard because my daughter's father passed away, you know. It was really hard for my family. It was hard for my daughter with her starting back kindergarten school. It was hard, you know. I didn't really have that much support after he passed away. So when I first came here in the beginning of my semester in 2016, I actually just finished getting my GED during the time before he passed away. And after, I was just like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to continue going to school. Like, I have no support. You know, what should I do? I started talking to the staff and faculty here about my situation and expressing how I felt, and just me wanting to continue my education, continue furthering my education. I just didn't know how and where to start.
It's hard to keep that. It's hard to keep your focus on the big picture, because the smaller picture is I have a bill to be paid by the end of the month, and if I go to school Tuesday and Thursday, I'm losing at least 20 hours of work a week, and I might not be able to cut it this month.
More than recently, I got kicked out of my house by my mom. So I was told, like, you know, I basically had to find a place on my own to live. And for me, that was like, where the hell do I go to find a place to live by myself? How do I make that, like, how do I stay in school at the same time? How do I make all this happen? I'm taking summer courses while all this is happening. My great-grandma died this past summer, so it's like there's so many different things that I had to like go through to try to figure out like what my living situation is going to be, so I can actually come to school and make sure I'm here on time to make sure I graduate this last year. So
it's literally in a conversation or something where all of a sudden it comes out. Well, it's the fact that I work midnight to 8, you know, 5 nights a week, and this class is at 9:30. It's not necessarily that the student isn't doing the reading or the work or whatever. It's that they are literally on the verge of exhaustion.
I had a situation when I was first hired at the college as an adjunct. There was a student who came every day to class until she didn't, right? And then she showed up again, and so she sort of pulls me out in the hall, and she's like, you know, sorry I've been late for almost 3 weeks, but I'm having a really horrible time. I tried to kill myself, right? And I can show you where I cut myself on my legs, right? And so I was like, you need to see somebody, you need to talk to somebody about this. You need to see somebody other than myself. I can help you with English, I can help you with writing, but I was like, you know, at the very least, why don't you sit in on class today? You know, don't go anywhere, and I'll walk you to counseling services, and we'll get you an appointment. Because I'm not trained in this. And I was honest with her that I figured honesty was probably the best way to sort of handle the situation. It worked out well. She ended the semester, she passed the semester. I saw her, you know, multiple semesters after that. But again, you just have to sort of be available, because I knew she wasn't going to walk herself over to counseling services, and I knew that she wasn't going to ask for help, you know, to people that she didn't know. So you just try to grease the wheels of progress, so to speak.
When I start to feel that a student is at risk, I will go to the student at the end, well, usually during class time when they're working on something, I will actually just even sometimes pass the student a note and say, you know, when you get a chance, either come to my office or stay after class if you have time. I want to talk with you. And I will have that conversation. I'll say, I noticed that you haven't been here for the last 3 weeks, or I've noticed that you're not talking as much, or you didn't do so well on the last test. What's going on? What can I do to help you at this point? What can I do to help you?
If they're falling behind, it's because they've had some experience. So recently, I had a student whose cousin overdosed, and he couldn't deal with it, so that was one. He was falling behind in his classwork. So sometimes they don't tell you what the actual problem is, but they hint at it. And you have to respect what they want to tell you, but try to, you know, get them back on the right track. So I try to have individual conferences for all my students in every single class.
Nursing students are unique. They want to help each other. If one student is struggling, there's like a whoosh, and they'll surround themselves. It's like they'll encapsulate that student. I think that's why I love nursing. I do, because you're not just helping your patient, you're helping each other.
I feel as though that sometimes colleges, or not necessarily all the time, but they don't consider that some students have other things going on all the time, and they make maybe like tutoring only certain hours a day, or the open labs not for as long as I would like it. Like, they don't really run past 5 all the time, and sometimes I don't have work past 5, and that is the time I can get here. And they cut off at around 6 o'clock, and it's impossible for me to make it out here in time to have that open math lab or chemistry lab. So sometimes I feel like my resources are limited, but if I find the right person to talk to, then they are more than helpful, though. They direct me to where I need to go and everything like that.
So there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know about. I didn't know about scholarships. I didn't know about student government. I didn't know about all the clubs I had last year going on. I didn't know about a lot of the resources on campus until I had joined the club, or someone reached out to me from that club, and they were like, hey, this is what you're eligible for, this is what you need to do.
I find a lot of times that students they're aware that there are resources, they're not sure where to find them. I actually, when I taught COL 101, college seminar, I made it my point to have visitors almost every week. So there would be like, a counselor would come in, a representative of a student from student activities or clubs would come in, like the career counselor would come in. Like, I made those things happen, but I'm also aware that in an ideal world, not everybody could do that.
Those resources were really beneficial to me because I was able to study, and I like to stay on campus for hours, so I got a lot of my homework done early. And yeah, with Coach Foley, I wanted to try out for women's college basketball, and I was so discouraged because it's like, I'm a single mom, what am I gonna do? But he gave me time, and that's important. I didn't realize how time was so important when I actually joined the basketball team, because managing time, tutoring, and being a mom, and then getting homework done, it was really hard for me. But when Coach allowed me to stay and late in the gym and practice, I was able to kind of manage my time. And then before practice, I was able to get my tutoring done with EOP and still get my homework done, still get good grades in chemistry.
I feel like a lot of problems come from like people not feeling like they belong anywhere. And that was my problem here at Suffolk. Like, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. And I feel like once you feel like you're a part of something, you'll have that emotional support. You'll have that like support from that group, and you'll feel like you belong somewhere. And I feel like that's how you can really help people, like making them feel like they are a part of something.
Achieving the dream for me means that we need to kind of look at our faculty and our staff and our administrators in terms of diversity.
I think it's important for us to look around and see people that look just like us. All my teachers here are great, but it would be awesome if I had more people who look like me that I could connect to.
Achieving the dream means giving students the opportunity to get ahead. That's going to be different for every student, but at the same time, it's still the idea that they have the opportunity to move forward in whatever capacity they need to move forward.
So for me, achieving the dream is about how do we deliver success?
Achieving the dream means equity and inclusion. But equity also fosters success for our students because it forces them to feel like we care about them.
What we all want is to achieve the dream, to see our students achieve the dream. I think the first thing is to listen, because not to ask too many questions, but let them come forward with what they want to say. And the second thing is to respect where they're coming from, because sometimes it might be an unconventional or untraditional place, or some place that society might frown upon for some reason, and you just have to respect their experiences.
I know what I want to be, and I know what I want to do, and that's helping people. I just got to stay the course. As long as you stay the course and you stay true to what you want to do and what you believe in, I think you can do anything.